Herodotus does tell us the story of Syloson and how he managed to get the backing of the mighty Persian Empire to go and get control of or get power in his own country and become the tyrant of the ruler. And the country Samos, his own country was Samos. Now, this Syloson was a brother to Polycrates, who I've mentioned a few times in the previous videos. Now, Syloson, Polycrates, and another brother of theirs had led an insurrection in Samos, and they had removed from power the government that was there, and they had come to power, the three of them. Now, initially, they decided to rule as the three of them. But then Polycrates kind of became selfish and greedy, and he wanted to control Samos like to be the ultimate ruler. And he killed one of the brothers, and Syloson left Samos. Herodotus tells us in another part of the book that Polycrates sent him away, but it's possible that Syloson ran away. When you read other parts of the book, it sounds like Syloson ran away after his brother Polycrates had killed the other brother. So then when the brother is dead and Syloson left, Polycrates became the tyrant of Samos. Now, this Polycrates is the guy who ruled until the king of Egypt, Aeaces, described him as being too lucky, like he became too successful. Everything he did, he succeeded. And Aeaces were not comfortable with that, and he told him, like, it's not good when everything you do goes right for you, because that means at one time something wrong is going to go wrong. Something is going to go wrong, and when that happens, it will destroy you completely. Anyway, that's a different story. Now, this Polycrates was tricked in the end by Aeaces, who was a satrap, like a governor of Lydia, who was stationed in Sardis. He was a governor. He had been put in that position by Cyrus the Great. Now, when Syloson left Samos, he went to Egypt. Now, at the time he was arriving in Egypt, Cambyses had conquered Egypt. Now, Herodotus tells us after Cambyses had conquered Egypt, there were so many people from other countries who came to Egypt. Some came to Egypt as soldiers, mercenaries to be paid. Some came as business people, traders. Some came to just see the country. And Herodotus tells us that Syloson was in the latter group. He had gone to Egypt just for adventure, to see the country. So while in Egypt, he met this soldier, a Persian soldier, in the street, in fact, and they start talking. And the Persian soldier likes the dress he was wearing, the robe, and he tells him, "I like your robe very much. How much can I pay you so that you give it to me?" And Syloson tells him, no, there is no amount of money you can give me so that I can give you this robe. But anyway, I'm not going to charge you anything. I'll just give you. And he gave this Persian soldier the robe. And now, it turns out the Persian soldier was Darius. During this time, he was a mere soldier, and in fact, he was a bodyguard of Cambyses. So then, after several years, Darius becomes the king. And also during this time, Polycrates is killed by Aeaces, who tricks him to go to Sardis, and then he kills him. And after he had killed him, back in Samos, there was this guy who was his deputy. His name was Maeandrius. Maeandrius was the deputy of Polycrates. So when he heard that Polycrates is dead, he became the ruler of Samos. But initially, he had decided to not become a tyrant like Polycrates. And in fact, he called his countrymen and told them, you know what, Polycrates was a tyrant. I have been his deputy, and if I wanted, I could become your tyrant also, but I don't want to be a tyrant. I'm going to turn Samos into a republic, and then the citizens will rule, probably through elections. But then other people came along and advised him, and he changed his mind, and he became a tyrant, and he became a cruel tyrant, in fact, alongside his brother. So now by the time Darius is now king, Maeandrius is the ruler of Samos. Now, Syloson has been traveling out there. He has never come back to Samos, even after his brother had been killed. Now, when Syloson heard that Darius is now the king of Persia, he went to Susa, and he reached there. He sat outside the palace gates. He wanted to see Darius, and he kept telling the guards, I want to see the king. The guards know him as a Greek, and they don't understand what a Greek would want to talk to the king about. And they go, and he tells the guards, I'm a benefactor of Darius. And they go tell Darius, and Darius is wondering, who is this Greek who is telling people that he is my benefactor? How? So initially, in the end, he tells the guards, let him come in. So Syloson goes in. Darius does not recognize him immediately, and he asks him, so who are you and what brings you here? And Syloson reminds him that I am the guy who gave you the robe in Egypt, remember, in the street? And Darius is happy. He remembers him and is very happy to see him. And he's like, you are so kind to me, and because of that, I want to reward you. And I'm going to give you gold and silver and many other things. Syloson tells him, yeah, I will really appreciate that, but I don't want gold and silver. I want you to help me recapture Samos. Samos, after my brother died, a guy who used to be our slave, Maeandrius, is now the tyrant of Samos, and I want to go back and remove him from power, and I need your help. And Darius calls Otanes. Remember, Otanes is one of the 7 Persians who removed the Smarties, the imposter, from power, very close to Darius. And he calls Otanes and gives him that responsibility, tells him, I want you to go with this guy to Samos, help him recapture that country and put him in power. And Otanes and Persian soldiers leave. And Herodotus tells us that Samos was the first Greek country that Darius the Great conquered. So, or went to war with. He didn't really conquer it, but went to war with. And he sends Otanes. Otanes go with Syloson, and they go to Samos. Now, Maeandrius and his brother were very cruel. They had killed most men in the country, like a huge population. So they didn't have an army really. So when the Persians showed up at their doorstep, they could not resist. So they just saw them coming, they welcomed them, they saw Syloson, they know what this was about. And Maeandrius kind of went along with what the Persians or Otanes was telling him. He was like, I don't have any problem, I'm ready to go. Syloson can take over and become the leader of Samos. But then before he could leave, his brother, who was at this point in prison, in jail, Maeandrius had put him in jail, he must have done something. He calls his brother and tells him, why do you want to give Samos away that easy to Syloson? Why do you want to make it so easy for him? Why do you want to give him a country that is in perfect condition? We should at least create chaos so that whatever he gets in the end is really damaged. So the king, Maeandrius, tells the brother, if you want to do that, go ahead and do that, I give you the permission. Maeandrius escaped through a back channel that the Persians and Syloson didn't know about, and he goes, and his brother comes out of prison with some other guys, and they start creating chaos. They get the Persians unaware because the Persian soldiers had relaxed because they had not seen any resistance. So this brother of Maeandrius manages to kill a few Persians, but the Persians get up quick and they react, and then they kill them, and then they go ahead. Now at this point, Otanes forgets the instruction he was given by Darius that he shouldn't kill or destroy Samos. He should give it in good condition to Syloson. But they go ahead, kill all men and boys, and now at that point there are no men. Otanes is forced to stay behind, and help repopulate the land with his soldiers. And yeah, so that's how Syloson got to become the ruler of Samos, because at one point he gave Darius the Great a robe dress, basically.